Madison College Library's HOWLER project presents Citing Sources and Avoiding Plagiarism. As the technology surrounding your life as a student undergoes rapid change, it is sometimes difficult to understand the boundaries of submitting written work for credit. The goal of this HOWLER tutorial is to help students avoid plagiarism and to raise awareness to the technologies that can both make citation easier and those that make academic misconduct harder to avoid. When you have an assignment that involves research, your first question might be, why do we need to keep track of and cite our sources? First, citing sources gives the authors of the sources you use credit for their work. Citing your sources enables others to locate the works you refer to in your research assignment. Every time you're careful and conscientious with your work, you increase the credibility of the work you submit. Further, if you have used highly credible source material, you boost your credibility even further. What's more, citing your sources is almost always a requirement of research assignments. Instructors generally expect you to submit a works cited page or bibliography to show where your information comes from. Failure to cite your sources is a form of plagiarism, which might result in disciplinary action related to academic misconduct. Considering that the stakes can be pretty high, what is plagiarism and how can it be avoided? Stated briefly, to plagiarize is to steal and pass off the ideas or words of another as one's own, or to use another's production without crediting the source. Arguably, the most obvious form of plagiarism is known as direct or copy and paste plagiarism. Also known as word for word, this form involves copying sentences, phrases, or whole paragraphs without the use of quotation marks or the acknowledgement of where the information came from. You may use information directly from a source, however, be sure to include quotation marks and an in-text citation, like the one highlighted in yellow at the end of this quote. If you need help getting started with this process, check with a Madison College librarian. More commonly, students make the mistake of committing mosaic or remix plagiarism. It is not enough to paraphrase your sources and mix them together within your paper. The examples here come from 3 news stories on the dangers of texting while driving. Again, you must credit where these ideas came from in the form of in-text citations. Without them, it is plagiarism. The next form of plagiarism might surprise some students. Yes, you can plagiarize from yourself. You are not allowed to submit an assignment you completed from another class or another college. That is plagiarism. However, it is possible to rework a paper if you have permission from the faculty members of both classes or both institutions. In all cases, the work you turn in for credit must be your own. You cannot copy someone else's essay, nor can you pay someone to write a paper for you and submit it as your work. You also cannot get assistance from generative AI without faculty permission. Any data or statistics you share must be attributed to the appropriate citation. Also, if you use a graph, chart, or image in your paper, you must cite it. How you do so, of course, will depend on the citation style you have been asked to use. Style, metaphor, and idea plagiarism are far less obvious than the ones mentioned so far. If you mimic an author's writing style, if you use metaphor that another writer has used to explain a concept, or if that author expresses a unique idea in the context of your topic, you must cite them. Authors deserve both credit for their words and credit for their original ideas. Anytime you forget to cite your sources, or if you misquote or incorrectly cite your sources, that's considered accidental plagiarism. This type of plagiarism also includes when you unintentionally paraphrase or use similar words without attribution. Common knowledge means widely known facts. For example, George H.W. Bush left office after one term, but his son, George W., won re-election in 2004. That would not need a citation. However, if you quoted a historian that claimed George W. Bush worked harder in 2003 to 2004 because he didn't want to be a one-term president like his dad, you would have to cite that claim. The easiest way to avoid accusations of plagiarism is to ask for assistance. Once again, check with Madison College librarians when you're in doubt. The Madison College Academic Integrity Policy has been updated to include the use of generative artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and similar services. New writing generators are just another way students might misrepresent written work as their own. The details of your assignment may vary, but essentially you need to include a list of your sources and indicate which parts of your paper are the thoughts and words of others. Madison College libraries collect the most recent editions of the major style guides for both citation and the formatting of your research papers. Check these if you want to delve into the original source for citation rules in print. When you discover helpful resources through Madison College libraries, our catalog has a citation feature available in several formats. Our library databases also have citation help built in. For example, our reference database, Credo, creates citations in 4 different formats with the click of a button. Our collection of EBSCOhost databases that includes Academic Search Complete has 9 different citation styles to choose from. It certainly makes a researcher's life easier to have the source and the citation in one spot. Furthermore, our Citation Help Research Guide can also direct you to additional information on citation and formatting details. Just so you're aware, electronic citation generators produce some variations. Therefore, make sure you're careful with the details that end up in the papers you submit. Here are 4 slightly different citations from the same source, an article by Maureen Dowd in 1992. Our best advice is to check with your instructor to see how accurate you need to be. Once you complete your paper and your citations are in order, you can enjoy the knowledge that you have faithfully and accurately given credit. Thank you for viewing this HOWLER tutorial.